Welcome to Living Large Television with Mark Henry, CEO of Alloy Wealth. For over 15 years, Alloy Wealth has focused on your financial needs and values when it comes to retirement planning and investment management. Mark and his team are committed to helping pre-retirees and retirees navigate complicated future planning decisions in order to meet and exceed your goals. This is Living Large Television.
Welcome to Living Large Television with Mark Henry. I'm Rebecca Powers. So happy to have you with us. Of course, it is a new year, and a lot of people maybe have lost last year, but you don't have to lose. You and your clients never lose. Let's talk about how you can go into 2023 with less risk and more peace.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny because as people enter the new year, Rebecca, everybody starts this idea of goal planning, setting the New Year's resolutions.
Right.
And we always start that idea. And unfortunately, you know, by the time this show actually airs and people get out there and start watching it, a lot of times those resolutions they made just a few weeks ago have already been broken.
Right.
And so when we talk about that, one of the ideas that I always like to tell people, and it's this idea of truly living large, but especially when it comes to your finances. If you find that last year wasn't the year you were looking for, and maybe the goals didn't happen. Now, of course, markets is something that unfortunately, as much as I'd like to think I can control those, I can't. I've been doing this job a very long time, and markets is something I simply can't control. So markets come and go. But we can control the planning part of it. So while we don't want to plan for negative and bad things like a market like 22, we know they're going to happen. So you have to have a retirement plan, a financial plan. Even if it's long before retirement, many people watching are going, Mark, I'm not retiring for 15 years. It doesn't mean you don't need a plan for things that are going to happen.
Right.
And so last year was one of those years that we hadn't seen it in a long time, and it took people by surprise. But getting back to that idea of the resolutions, one of the ways we find that's the best way to actually hit your goals in 2023, is before you actually start writing down all these things you're going to do, take a look at what you were going to do last year.
That's a good idea.
And let's find out what you did and didn't do. So here's what I wanted to do last year, and I was able to do this, this, and this, but these other 5 things didn't happen. Okay, well, let's talk about why they didn't happen. Let's talk about why you felt the way you felt when it comes to the financial part. Why did last year feel so hard? What caused it? What caused that stress? What kept you up? And you say, well, Mark, it was the markets. No, markets are going to come and go. You don't want to live your life being controlled by whether or not Wall Street performs or not.
Right.
That'd be kind of crazy, wouldn't it?
If you have all of your money in the market, then you really are at their mercy. So it's better to be truly diversified, which a lot of people are.
You have to be diversified, and you're absolutely right. You've been doing these shows for a very long time. I'm very happy to have you back on today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, missing Cynthia, but we're glad you were able to fill in and jump in.
Thank you.
But it's one of those ideas when you think about planning. So many people think the plan is being diverse in the different equities or bonds or whatever it is they're doing. Retirement planning is so much more than that right there. But really, what I'm saying at this point in time, now is the perfect time to start preparing for 23 by looking at what happened in 22, what we liked and what we didn't like, and how we're going to correct that in the future. So let's talk about the victories and that. And through our planning process, this is what we're known for. You know, we do these complimentary or free. I love that word better. It's just free. We just don't charge. And you know, that's one of the things I think we ought to even address being this early in the year. Why are we willing, Rebecca, to bring people in and do a written retirement plan, one that's been done by a certified financial planner, and not charge? In the Charlotte market, and Greenville's the same, I'm sure North Myrtle is, that's our 3 markets that we're in, but in the Charlotte market, many people are charging $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 for a retirement plan done by a certified financial planner. And so one of the questions people ought to ask is, why is this guy up there? Why is Alloy Wealth up there offering to give away for the first 10 callers, 15 callers? Why are they willing to do that? And that's a great question to ask. What's the catch, right? I mean, really, what's the big hook there?
I know the answer, but go ahead.
You do know the answer. Well, let's talk about that, because the reality is we're a fee-based financial firm. And I don't think we talk about that enough, because most people are currently working with one of those big box retail firms that does it the commission-based way. And that doesn't make them bad at all. but there is a difference. We're fee-based.
And you're independent.
And we are independent.
And I want to drive that home. If you walk in to buy a Ford, if you go to the Ford dealership, they're not going to send you down the road to Chevrolet.
That's correct.
They're going to sell you one of their products. And so the big box retailers and their cubicles, and no offense to them, but they have their products to sell. You as an independent can look at all annuities in the world, can look at all the products. Let's talk about the difference.
Available. That's exactly right.
That's available.
And when you think of it that way, also one of the biggest differences is, as large as we've grown, and we are quite large, one of Charlotte's largest, but we don't employ a stockbroker. People say, what do you mean?
Yeah.
We don't sell stocks and bonds. That's not what we do. Everyone that meets with clients, we have certified financial planners on the planning team. The people that you set with, they're licensed one way. They're licensed as a fiduciary. That means what is in the client's best interest is what we are legally bound to do.
You take an oath
not
when you
what's
get that.
in our best interest. And that's a
Right.
big deal.
Yeah.
And many people don't know how their current firm is, quote, licensed. They don't ask those. They don't even know to ask those kind of questions.
Or the fees. That's a biggie too.
Fees matter.
Big time.
It matter big time. That's exactly right. Or the hidden fees, those little financial termites that eat up a portfolio.
I like that. I'm going to write that down.
That's right.
Termites.
Yeah, they
so
are.
True.
They're financial termites that just eat up a portfolio. And many people look at their statement and they see a fee on there and they think that's what they're paying. When we do our part of our planning process is uncovering all the hidden fees they didn't know about. And I hate having to expose those, but you need to have this information. So getting back to why we do this and why we're willing to give it away, absolutely complimentary, or a better word, free.
Yes.
Why are we willing to do that? Well, quite honestly, because we know in our hearts that we're not a good fit for everyone watching this show today. We're simply not. We'd like to think we're good for everybody, but we're not. But how do you bring them in? And this was the problem. I would bring people in, we would charge them $2,500, $3,000 to meet with them 2 or 3 times and build this written plan. Well, Rebecca, many times at the end of that process, they would say, well, we love work. This has been a great process. Hey, we want to work with you. Now, that was awesome. That's how I built the business. It was great.
Right.
Hey, got a client. Yes, ching, here we go.
Ring the bell.
Right, it was great, except for when it wasn't great.
Yeah.
And you say, what do you mean? Well, sometimes we knew that that client was not a good fit for our firm. They weren't bad people. They're just, their goals, what they wanted to do might not have fit what we wanted. But after you've charged somebody, let's say $3,000 to build them a plan, and then they say they want to work with you.
You're committed.
Can you imagine this feeling of saying, oh, Rebecca, thank you so much. That's so kind. No, here's your plan. Just go do it with somebody else. Here you go. Just go do it with somebody else. I couldn't do that.
Right.
So we actually took on clients that in our heart, we knew we shouldn't have taken.
It wasn't the right fit.
Now, by doing it the way we do it, by just bringing people in, we can't bring everyone in, we know that, but we have to limit it. We have to make it for the first callers that call in that are ready to start a new chapter. We can bring them in, do all the heavy lifting, and give them a tangible written plan. And people are blown away when they actually get this. They can't believe it's so comprehensive. Talk about all their hopes and dreams. Remember, whose money is it, Rebecca?
It's theirs.
It's their money. What do they want to do with, not what we want to do with their money, what do they want to do with their money? What are their hopes, dreams, and goals? We can bring them in, go through the entire planning process, and then if it is a good fit, great, we can say, hey, we'd love to work with you. We'd like to too, that's awesome. And if it's not, no harm, no foul. They left their checkbook at home. They paid nothing for those appointments for all the time with a licensed fiduciary, a plan done by a certified financial planner. They received it absolutely free. They didn't pay anything for it. They got what they need. They can literally take it back to their brother-in-law that's managing their money, or their cousin, or the big box retailer, and say, hey, fix these things right here.
Right.
This is what's wrong with my plan. I want you to fix this. And they didn't pay for that. And that's why it works so well for us.
It's
and that's
a win-win.
why we do it. Yeah. In fact, we got to get the phone lines open.
Yes.
Can you let them know to open the phone lines?
Absolutely. Let's do that. And
let's get Randy, the producer, wake him up, tell him it's time to get these phone lines open. Here's the deal for you. This is the way to start this new year. You know you need this. You know you deserve it. It's time to receive it. If you'll pick up the phone right now, the number's on the screen, but it's 888-272-0650. It's not a toll-free helpline. Have your appointment book ready. The operators are standing by, and if you've saved $250,000 or more for retirement, that's certainly a good start. More is always better. But one of my licensed fiduciaries and our certified financial planning team will sit down with you, and they will create a written retirement plan. And again, I've seen others charge thousands for something like this. We're going to do it absolutely complimentary, no obligations. It's going to be 100% free. Leave your checkbook at home, pick up the phone and reach out right now. Get what you need, take the uncertainty out, and get started on your confident financial future. And it all starts with a simple phone call, 888-272-0650.
As you said, get your calendar ready. Let's make sure we get you an appointment as soon as we can. Start the new year off right. There's a number again, 888-272-0650. More with Mark Henry right after this.
You know, I was 13 years old, and I walked in the house, and I could just tell, you could feel the tension even at that young age. And it turned out my dad had lost his job. There was talk of us moving and the only home I'd known and all this uproar and what was going to happen. It was very traumatic for me at 13 years old. You fast forward a number of years later, my father and my mom are retired. They live in Jupiter, Florida. My dad was an avid golfer, and it was just the retirement of their dreams. And I got a phone call on a Monday. I was still living in Atlanta at the time. And my mom said, you know what happened today in the financial markets? It was referred to as Black Monday. And basically they had lost in a single day over half of their retirement savings. Losing over half of it at one time in one day caused him to then move it all out. And then it became apparent that he couldn't stay in the retirement of his dreams. And the reality is, what control did my dad have over when Black Monday happened? Well, he didn't. But he did have control over how he was invested. But my father didn't have a retirement plan. And when I designed Alloy Wealth and built Alloy Wealth, it was on the structure of, there's plenty of wealth managers out there. But what you can't find is a partner in the planning side of retirement. We do everything here at Alloy Wealth with the end in mind. We figure out what we're looking for in the future, and then we back up and come backwards to build the plan around that. You can't wait until you're in the middle of a storm to go find shelter. You're already wet. Well, an alloy is a metal where you take several metals and you combine them to make them stronger than they are individually. When you think about retirement planning, that's exactly what we do here. We're going to take a portfolio and combine it together to make it stronger than it was on its own. At Alloy Wealth, I feel like we work best with couples and individuals that have an open mind about life. They're positive, they're enthusiastic, they have an idea of what they want to do, and they like the idea of having a written financial plan that can help ensure their success in doing that. What we do is we're money managers. We're fiduciaries. We partner up with our clients. So think of us as a holistic firm where we're looking at more than just the dollars, and you have to kind of get all that correct. And welcome back on Living Large Radio. Living Large Radio is a big part of what I do. Each week I'm able to talk about topics that people need to hear about and give them insights into how to do retirement. Living Large Radio was really designed around the 5 F's, which is faith, family, friends, finance, and fitness. Because I believe in life you have to get all those correct. So when I think of what I do and how I try to get those right, for me personally, one is focusing on others through my job, but it's also focusing on others through my church. And a big part of my life is Ridge Church. And serving there for the last 10 years has been a major part of my life, and it will be for the next 10. I couldn't imagine going to church and not serving in church. I get up every day and I'm so blessed that I get to do what I do. And I love what I do. So focusing on helping people get what they need in life has blessed me beyond my dreams. I think it was very clearly said, if you focus on what others want enough, you'll get everything in life you're looking for. Well, that has certainly been true for me, for my family, and for Alloy Wealth.
Welcome back to Living Large TV with Mark Henry of Alloy Wealth Management. I'm Rebecca Powers. We're talking about starting off the new year right. So many people have done resolutions to eat better, to start working out, but getting your financial house in order, Mark, is the easiest thing you can do once you bite that bullet, once you look at everything and you have a plan.
Well, it's funny,
set,
you know,
right?
It is. It's funny that you say it's easy, and for the people listening, they're going, I don't know what she's talking about. This is not easy. Well, it seems like it's hard. because people don't know what to do and how to start. And really
Sure.
the system, and I love Wall Street, Rebecca. I'm a Wall Street money manager. It's what I do. I love it. But it's broken.
Yes.
That's why I started Alloy Wealth. It's broken.
Yes.
Think about this. When you work with a big box retail firm, and they're necessary, they exist on every corner for a reason.
Yeah.
But when you work with them, they want to talk about one thing: stocks and bonds. Here's where you got to put your money. You got to have your money in the Wall Street machine. This is how we're going to make you rich.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. So I say it like this. First off, we don't make people millionaires. That's not what we do. And people say, really? No, they've already got the millions when they come to see us. We help them keep it. There's a
Gotcha.
big difference. We're not designed for that. We're not looking for the next get-rich-quick thing. That's not what we're doing.
Secure.
That's right. And it
low
happens,
risk.
we want to have a plan, and risk is quantitative. We don't even know what low risk means, Rebecca, because everybody's risk tolerances are different. We like to quantify that. Some people want a conservative portfolio. Well, what does that mean? And some people want a moderate, and some people want an aggressive. I'm much more falling on the aggressive side. I take a lot more risk in my portfolios. Why? Well, obviously I'm very young, obviously, and so I have a long time to go here. But I like making money. But when you use those terms, conservative, moderate, and stuff, people don't know. We have to put that quantitatively into a plan, so we can, instead of saying conservatively, say, Rebecca, I know you talked about a conservative style portfolio. How would you feel if this conservative portfolio lost 20% of your net worth? Would that be okay?
No.
Okay, well then the conservative.
Then I'm not, yeah.
That's right. You say, well, Mark, that's not conservative. It's not conservative to you.
Everyone's different.
But to me, a conservative portfolio with my money might be one that only loses 15. You're going to need something that somebody else might call, oh, that's ultra conservative. Get rid of those crazy Wall Street terms, and let's get it down to what of your hard-earned dollars are you willing to lose in these crazy times we find ourselves in.
That's the
difference.
difference.
We have to balance. And this is why when you think of diversity, you brought it up earlier, but you have to think of being diverse in other categories as well. So it's not just diversity between stocks and bonds and mixes and all that sort of stuff. It's diversity in asset classes, where you actually have asset classes outside of Wall Street.
Exactly.
Alternative asset classes. And I've taken this, like a lot of people watch our YouTube channel. They've seen Living Large Retirement, the YouTube, and that's just blown up because a lot of people love YouTube, and Ticker Talk, or all the different ones we're on. We're on Snappergram, Instagram. I don't even know all the stuff, but my team's got me out there everywhere.
That's what your young people are for.
That's right. And there's a lot of them, and they've got me out there everywhere. But sometimes people will say, well, Mark, I've seen like you have these cool cars. And so we film in that garage I built out there in Locust at my house and stuff. And we got this just amazing garage, but they'll see a couple cool cars. Well, those are alternative. I'm not trying to be flamboyant when I show a really cool car, but that's an alternative asset class for me. So I've invested in something other than Wall Street, as an example. Many people invest in real estate.
Exactly.
Well, I have a lake home. That's a real estate example of investing somewhere other than Wall Street. But that doesn't mean I'm avoiding Wall Street. I have plenty of money in Wall Street.
Right.
I have tax diversity in my portfolios as well. And this is the problem. When you're working with those big box retail firms, they only talk about one thing. That's it. But there's so much more to retirement and life and building wealth than just having all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
So we're the firm, because of being independent, because we do so much more than just manage money. We can talk about and discuss all the other things. We know about real estate portfolios. We understand that, and that can be a great asset class for have some money in. Just like I've chosen to have some money in some cool cars.
Right.
And they go up in value. Sometimes they go down. Imagine that. It's like the markets.
Exactly.
But it's other than the markets.
But it's also
There's
something
other
you can
ways.
touch.
It
you
is.
can touch and
for me,
feel, like
it's
my
fun.
rental homes. Instead
That's
of
exactly
opening
right.
a portfolio and being disgusted,
right.
This is just an alternative.
It's just an alternative. And those are all okay when you can put them all together in a written plan to get all those asset classes working together. but you can't go see 12 different people to accomplish that. And that's the problem when you're seeing one person that does one thing, but there's so much more to the puzzle. Hey, we're going to have to open the phone lines again. Let's get these phone lines open. Rebecca, can you do that for me?
Yes, absolutely. There's the number 888-272-0650. When we come back, we're going to talk about the offices, the locations.
We're going to do all that, but let's give them a great offer before we go.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so listen, if you've saved $250,000 or more for retirement, this is for you. We will sit down, my team of licensed fiduciaries and certified financial planners, and we will help you create your very own written retirement plan. One to help give you a confident financial future. And I've seen others charge $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 for these reports, written retirement plans. We're going to do it absolutely free. 100% complimentary, no obligations. Leave your checkbook at home. Well, I guess there is one obligation. You're going to have to do something for me right now. You got to get up off the couch and you got to dial 888-272-0650. But that's it. That's the only obligation. You'll sit down with a licensed fiduciary, a certified financial planner. We'll build this plan and you will have and enter and head through 2023 with a confident financial future. And it all starts with a phone call right now.
Absolutely. Get some peace of mind heading into your retirement. Stay with us. More with Mark Henry in just a minute.
Meeting our son.
Crazy road trips.
Memories with Grandpa.
Family and friends.
My first job.
My fourth job.
Exploring our world.
Our world. Our first date.
Our special song.
Secure your retirement by meeting with a financial advisor.
Now's the time to make that very important phone call.
All right, welcome back to Living Large TV. We're talking about how you can head into your retirement and keep your money that you have worked so hard for. Don't you find most of the people who walk in, I want to talk about your offices first of all, Charlotte, Greenville, North Myrtle Beach, and you're getting ready to open another one in Hilton Head, I believe you said?
That's right.
So when people call, set their appointment, leave your checkbook at home, what's it like when you first walk in?
Well, you know, they come in and they're fearful, because they know they need something different. They're not wanting to break up with their current financial team partner. Sometimes they've had these people 10, 12, 15 years. And a lot of times they're actually happy with the firm or the person.
Right.
They're unhappy sometimes with the results, especially after a year like last year.
Right.
But they like the person. So they're like, I don't know what I need. But they know something's missing. Mm-hmm. So they're coming in cautiously optimistic, apprehensive, maybe like my grandmother would have been all those years ago, clutching the checkbook. Well, remember, I told you to leave the checkbook at home. Don't even braid it. There's nothing for sale. You know, as I said, we're a fee-based financial planning firm. We're not inviting everyone in. Everyone's not a good fit for us.
Right.
But everyone deserves a written retirement plan. One that's been done by a certified financial planner. Everybody deserves that. So I can't change the world, but I can certainly try to help the people that take advantage of that and come in. So when they come in, what they're going to find is, one, if you're coming into the offices, any of our offices, they're absolutely gorgeous. Let's talk about the Charlotte one. You know, it's almost 10,000 square feet. It's got a golf simulator in it. People go, oh, golf simulator? Yeah, it's not just a simulator. It's a room. It's a dedicated room. It's gorgeous. Spent way too much money on it, but we find a lot of our clients like to play golf. So when they come in, when they're actually a client, they'll meet with their financial advisor and we'll discuss what's going on and what changes and this and that, and what's going on in the world. And then they'll go back there and play a few holes at Pebble Beach because they like that kind of stuff. And the best way to say that is, here's the biggest difference that we hear all the time between what they've been doing and what they could be doing. At Alloy Wealth, we don't want to be a transactional firm. We're not transactions. We have nothing for sale. We're a relationship firm, which is why we guard ourselves so closely on who we actually invite in to work with us.
Yes.
Because we're going to manage their money for the next 25, 30 years or more. We want to know who we're partnering with. And you should want to know that as well. They should not want to work with a firm that just says yes to everybody.
Right.
But when you're working for those big box retail firms, those young men and women that you're setting with, they have quotas.
Absolutely.
And if you walk in there and your breathing can fog a mirror and you have money that you can move to them, guess what? They will take you as a client. If you don't believe me, walk in any local bank or financial firm in your area, walk in and do one thing. Just say, hey, I've got some money. I want to move it over. Can I talk to somebody? And I promise you, they will say, well, here's how we do it. That's not for us. We're not like that. We're different by design. And you recognize that when you first come in. You know, we have nothing for sale, but we do bake cookies every day. So we have fresh baked cookies every day. It always smells good. The offices are absolutely gorgeous. You don't meet with somebody behind a desk. We have beautiful tables that have been custom designed. And again, it's all different by design. It's intentional. And what's going to happen is you're going to sit down with somebody that's a licensed fiduciary, and they're going to talk and ask you questions that most likely you may have been doing this for 30 years. Most likely, we hear it all the time, nobody, their current professional, has never asked them the questions we're asking.
Like, what are your goals? What are your dreams?
Yeah, and those sometimes are asked, but we want to talk about what is the plan here? What are we trying to do with this money? You worked so hard. What now? What's next? What are we going to do? You want to retire in 5 years? You want to retire in 10? Great. Let's talk about where the money to retire is going to come from.
The income each month. What's it
look like? What's the income going to look like? Adjusted for inflation, after taxation. Listen, I think in my career, I can only imagine how many financial statements I've read. Most people are trying to do life based on opening the mail monthly or quarterly and seeing how they did. Up, down. And their mood is based off of how they did, up, down, and all that.
And that's a terrible way to live.
That is not the way to live. A retirement plan takes into account inflation, the dreaded I word, taxation, asset class, legacy planning, how you're going to leave money. There's so much that has to go into these plans. They're telling me we got to go. I cannot believe this time's up.
I know. I wanted to mention you also do Social Security, Medicare.
We do all that.
You do everything.
Rebecca, they're telling me we got to go, but I want to get this final opportunity out there. Listen, do this for me. Take a chance right now in 2023. 888-272-0650. Again, all you have to do, you have nothing to lose, everything to gain. If you've saved $250,000 or more for retirement, don't miss this opportunity. Get started correct. Start off with a certified financial plan done by a certified financial planner, a written retirement plan. And all you have to do is pick up the darn phone and call 888-272-0650. Have your appointment book in hand. Book an appointment and change what you know went wrong last year. Let's make differences and let's get you a plan that you can count on in your hands. It doesn't mean you're going to break up with your current firm or your brother-in-law that's managing your money. It means you're going to get the answers to the questions that you know you have. And it all starts with a simple phone call at 888-272-0650. Hey, we hope you found the information today useful and helpful, because that's how it's intended. Rebecca?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark. And you can also go to our YouTube channel at Living Large Retirement. Remember, when you call this number, have your calendar ready, and it is no cost, no obligation, and most importantly, it could just be the second opinion you've always needed. Thank you so much for being with us. Remember to join us online. Keep those calls coming in. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next week.